We here with something a little different today. We wanted to give the opportunity for the people that support us and encourage us to provide their own personal feedback. So it's Chris P and Mr. OB with Miss Ma'am here.
Oh no, no, y'all go ahead with this one. I'll produce. Our producer got COVID-24, so I got to fill in on the production. But y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead. I'm in the studio. I'm listening.
I want to introduce her and give her the floor to provide any commentary that she has on anything that she's heard on these crazy few episodes that we've been able to produce. So, Miss Ma'am, go ahead and give me what you thought
Yes.
was one of the highlights from one of the things you heard.
Okay. So I hope I don't take y'all back too far, but do you remember the one that you had that was called Least Ye Be Judged? And it's
Yes,
the
ma'am.
second one of the two.
Okay.
And I think you made a comment where you said constant evaluation and growth in a relationship. And I agree with that wholeheartedly because I'm 15 years in now.
Okay.
And me and my spouse, we joke because he keeps saying, yeah, I love this new version of you. And I think a lot of people don't realize in their relationship that whether you're married or you're shacking or whatever the hell you want to call it, the person that you met at the club ain't gonna be the same person when you move in with that person. Ain't gonna be the same person when you marry. Ain't gonna be the same person 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. Uh, and I think the sooner you realize that, the better the relationship will be and the longer it will last. I can admit, and I don't think a lot of women will admit it. And I'm gonna say it. I can admit I am not the same damn person he married.
Is that a
Physically,
good thing? Is
mental.
that a good thing, though, or a bad thing?
Um, it depends on who's looking at it. For me, I wish I was the same person that he married. Um, but I've grown in other ways that I think if you ask him now, that version that you married and that version that you got now, which one would you want to keep going with? He probably would pick the version that I am now, if that makes any sense.
Right.
I was younger then. Yeah, I was younger then, but it wasn't so much of the attitude that I had. It's a, it's an experience. It's an experience and the inexperience. You know what I mean? He's a little bit older than me, so um I think he was just already ready to be settled down. And I thought what the family dynamic was, what in my head, uh, being at home, raising the kids and all this stuff, and cleaning the house and keeping up the house and all this stuff, which ties into the relationship roles that y'all had conversation on. I learned that that's some bullshit. Now, look, I jump all over the place, so y'all keep up with me. The
All right, cool.
relationship roles is some bullshit because when we first got married, I thought, okay, we both work. I thought, okay, I'm gonna come home, I cook, I clean, and I take care of the kids. Okay, he take care of the outside, I got the inside, whatever it was. Well, as our family grew, I said, oh hell no, you gonna have to start helping with some of this right here, cause I ain't superwoman, I can't do it all.
Hold on one second.
So,
Hold up. Did he come back
okay, go
with that
ahead.
same energy? Did he hit you with that same energy? You gonna have to come out here and start weeding and trimming and all that shit?
No, he didn't.
So was that
No, he
fair?
didn't.
Was that fair that you switched it up because
Um,
your feet got flat?
I think it was fair because, okay, it was a comment that you made on that podcast. Was like, okay, what if he's working from home? Do you feel like he should cook?
Mhm.
And in my mind, when I was thinking about it, I said, I think it's fair that he should because if you're at home, you're already there. That's less that I have to do. And when it's less that I have to do, then it's more things I can do for you that you like if I ain't tired. If you get that. You know what I mean? So, after
That's what I was gonna say.
mm-mm, no, no, I didn't tell him that. I didn't tell him that. I showed him that.
Oh,
See, that's what a lot of women get wrong. See, I know my husband. So I know if he has his weekend plan and it's something that I just threw out there impromptu that I need him to do, before I ask him to do it, I know what to do to get it done. Where when I ask him, he gonna be like, "Oh, okay, let me go and do this real quick." Women don't know how to play the game. Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's trust. That's what I was going to say. But let me say this, Sean. Let me say this. The issue is we record. It's funny that you brought that one up because we recorded that podcast in 2016, and it was when people were still working at the job and things of that nature. And I happened to be in a situation where my old lady didn't work and was at the crib. And I was coming home to assignments and was like, whoa, 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 what the fuck? Hell no, what have you been doing all day? And so it was a lot of that energy. There was a lot of that energy in that, but it has kind of time hasn't really kept up with that because so many people are working from home now. But I think what you're saying is that communication, showing and telling, is important in order to evolve in relationships because, like you said, the person that you with, you got to be, is one of the things I believe in. You have to be committed to the commitment because the person is going to change. The person is going to evolve appropriately.
Exactly.
So I remember I
Exactly.
went through a situation where I thought, man, I wish that my old girls could be with this nigga now because I'm so much better,
Mm-hmm.
but I was taken away from the fact that she created this
Mm-hmm.
dude now. Does your husband know
Mm-hmm.
that he created this monster that you are now that you saying I wish I was more like my old me when he did so much work to create this new you? Do you realize that?
I never thought about it like that.
Hmm.
That we created the new us.
Hmm.
I never thought about it like that. I thought I probably would say life created it.
Hmm.
Uh, we're a blended family, so he had a child, I had children when we met, and
Hmm.
we grew through so much. We both had to change when we got together. We didn't think that we had to change so much in order to stay together, and we did because it wasn't just us. It was we both had baby mama, baby daddy drama and stuff that we had to work through. It was a lot. But I think at the end of the day, what we sat down and decided was, and I think a lot of people need to realize that too when you coming in with bags, because we both had our own baggage. We decided that at the end of it all, and I hate to call children baggage, but at the end of it all, they're gonna leave. We got to do what we got to do to make sure that we're going to be okay when they're gone. So I listen to conversations where people say I pick my children over my husband, things like that, and I've told them I'm choosing my husband over my kids. That don't mean I don't love my kids, but my husband come first because I'm raising them to go, but we got to stay. And we had that conversation because, like I said, he had a child before, and I had two before when we got together, and that we had to sit down and have that conversation that we come first. So whatever decision we made, it was the best for us, and it's always gonna be good for them when it's the best for us. But we had to change a lot of things. We had to change how we deal with people, family. We had to change a whole lot to be who we are now, and that's just yeah.
So
Go ahead.
OB taught me something. OB taught me something a long time ago, and that is he's always going to choose whoever is in the right. So if it's his old lady and she in the right, that's what he rocking with. If it's his kids and they in the right, that's. But to say I'm always gonna choose this person no matter what, I can't do the unconditional love situation. Everything got conditions. So I'm asking you, are you choosing your husband from a biblical situation, good, bad, and different, and fuck the kids regardless? Or Miss Ma'am, how do y'all monitor that? Because sometimes you ain't right. Let's just keep it real. Sometimes he ain't right.
Yeah. And sometimes the children ain't right and sometimes they are right.
Hmm.
Um I'm trying to think of as a good example. When when we first got married, my oldest
Hmm.
was upset with me because I married someone else and not her dad.
Hmm.
So she really, really, really acted out. I mean, she did some horrible shit. Now I could have just said, "Well, my daughter's going through some things, and I don't know if this is good for us right now," or I could have just gave in to everything that she was doing. But I knew that he wasn't doing anything wrong. He was a good guy.
Hmm.
He wasn't doing anything
Hmm.
wrong. She was just mad. So I'm riding with my husband, and I sit her down and say, "Hey, this is what this is going to be, whether you like them or not. And these are the rules in the house." So, like when we create rules, and they may not think it's fair, or her biological dad may not think it's fair, okay, well, this is what we came up with. Now, I've never been in a situation where he was just totally wrong and my kids were right. If that just makes any sense. I can't think of one right now where I just
Mhm.
actually had to choose my husband over my kids. But now, now I can tell you this: if there's a punishment or something, or maybe he took something away, and they like, ain't dad doing the most, and I felt like maybe he was doing the most. What we try to do is we talk about that, but not in front of them and around them. So if uh we gave them back something, it was always that we did it. We try to do it that way. I think we had enough of them playing us against each other because it was a lot of that when we got together. So we came together and said, hey, we gonna do this together because if not, they was gonna tear us apart.
Mhm.
And that's how it was in the beginning. It's like, he had a child, and okay, she upset. You're not with my mom. My child, same way. So we just had to sit down and say we're not gonna let them tear us apart because that's where it was going. So,
Let me jump in. Let me jump in because this is we you just gave a good idea for a whole nother pod. We talk about this all the time, Ob and I, as far as stuff can splinter off. My question to you though is when it was time early on, how long did it take for him to be able to do his thing without your permission? How long did it take for you to do your thing without his permission? Because I think in a situation where you bringing a person in, like for example, I had the same situation, and I think in the beginning, if my daughter got in trouble, she would wait on me and then we
hmm
would go in together as opposed to her feeling the authority to go in on her own and just let me know what had happened. Is that how it is now? Has it ever got to that point where he just go off or you just go off on your own and be like, hey, I had to check him on this and present the united front in that way? Or is it always a check with me type situation still?
it wasn't me saying check with me. He always checked with me in the beginning, but
Mm-hmm.
now they're older. I would say it took quite a few years before he did it on his own. I used to be like, why you calling me? Like you the one at the house because we used to work different shifts, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, why you call me and why I gotta wait till I get home to take care of this? You there? You know what I'm saying? I trust you. I know you're not gonna hang them up by their toenails. You're not gonna torture them and no shit like that. But why are you waiting on me? So I used to, get mad or whatever. Like, why are you waiting on me? But uh, it took some time for him to be like, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, or he'll text me and say, hey, this is going on, and here I go with which you can take care of that. And I mean, like right now, I've came home from work because you know me, I'm crazy. And I came home from work, and took care of some stuff because I felt like I need to be the one to do this one because hell no, let me take care of this. And especially because I got girls, he held back a lot because he's a man, he's strong and things like that. But it got to a point where I think I didn't have the strength to anymore, if that makes sense. So he called me like he says it's softest tissue. I got softest tissue, some shit like that. But when it got to the point where my daughters got, because I'm short, got a little bit eye to eye and things like that, and a belt is just out of the question. I'm throwing them damn hands because that's how I am. When I had to get like that with my oldest daughter, it was like, all right, don't do that, So it was a little bit more with him actually. After that, we didn't have no problem with her, but he don't want me to get to that case. So yes, he has whooped them. He's disciplined them before, but it was much later on. It was some years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
That
One person can't grow and the other one just sit and watch. It don't make sense.
But I think another thing also is when you have women, because I know women who done shit on their kids over a dude that wasn't no good, didn't mean them
Oh
no
yes,
good, didn't mean the
yes,
kids no good. I think the
right.
starting point is, do you feel like he mean the kids some good? And then if that's the case, because that's your responsibility. Kids didn't ask to be born. So
Right?
when you meet somebody that mean the kids some good, I can tell you this. One of the thresholds that I had for even getting married was if something happened to her mama and after some years, something and she came to live with us. And then let's say 2, 3 years down the line, something happened to me. Would she still want to stay there with my wife? Would she still want to be raised by my wife in that home that we've created? Blah blah blah. And when I can say yes to myself to those things, that's the one I want to marry. That's how I use my logic to create.
Mm.
This is what's gonna work because once they got cool enough, it's awkward in the beginning. My daughter was like 3 or 4 years old though, but it's awkward in the beginning, and they trying to feel each other out. Don't nobody want to step on toes and whoop de woo this that. But you know me, I'm like, hey, I ain't there. Make it happen. Tell me about it later. Either we doing this or we ain't. But when I realized she's good enough, she's comfortable enough, she feels involved enough to where if I wasn't there, she would still want to come around. That it's a no brainer at that point. But I was putting the kid first in that
Mm-hmm.
situation because now if I just had a rebellious spirit and somebody that just couldn't get right and she didn't mean me no good, then because kids and puppies, they can sense things, right? Kids and puppies can sense things in folks. So if you got a little kid or a dog or something, and the person come around and all the time the dog growling and the kid don't want to get hugged and all that, man, that person something on them, some kind of spirit is on them, right? But when you
Right.
get a good person and the kid is rocking with the person and the person ain't overdoing it or trying, they ain't paying off the kid or doing that, they just being themselves, then you realize you got a good one. But that's definitely something we definitely. I'm gonna say it right now on wax. We're gonna bring you back in for a whole series on blending and bringing that together because I think we all have a perspective on that that's interesting. But a lot of it is get over yourself and stop thinking that you the prize or that you can't make it happen because somebody's got to lose in this situation. We can all win, but we just have to calibrate it and we got to know what to add and subtract.
Well, see, when I think a lot of women make mistakes. We like you was on one of your one of them. I forgot what it was, but you was talking about a woman's intuition,
Mm-hmm.
and we have that, but we don't use it. There's so many red flags. There's so many red flags, but for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, we want to build somebody, like Build a Bear. We want to build somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and that's stupid. I'm just gonna say it's stupid. And I've been stupid. So I was the one that wanted to build somebody. When I figured out that this shit wasn't working, it wasn't for me, I started looking for something different. I mean, a total 180. So what attracted me to my husband was the one that I had before was so disrespectful to his mom and women in his family. So I said, okay, I need to look at for the opposite of this shit because this right here, how would I expect somebody to treat me better than he treat his mom?
Mm-hmm.
So when I met my husband, what the eye opener was before we even started talking is he had a picture of his daughter in his wallet. How and I'm like, damn, you got a picture of your daughter? He showed me a picture of his daughter. And
Right,
to
right. What
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
1946?
It was look, like Charlemagne the God said in the 1900s, but no, it was like 2003.
Right.
Yeah, right.
At Ole
Yeah,
Mills and stuff.
2003 maybe. But I was impressed. And I'm like, okay, because I asked, do you have any kids? And, we were inside the building, showed me a picture. I'm like, okay. And then as I got to talk to him, I noticed that he cares about his aunts and his mom, and he's doing things for them. And I'm like, okay, that's one of them right there. And this nigga coming to work every day. So, like, that's a plus. Take care of his kid, make sure he get it every weekend. I'm like, okay, this is okay. But in between me talking to him, it was other people trying to talk to me. And, everything that I saw in those folks was what I just left. And I said, oh, hell no, it ain't gonna change. It's not gonna be what I want. But, what I do want to say is when I met him, I had to change what the person that I was because I had just left from some toxic shit. So, and he wasn't with it. So I had to humble myself. Like I said, I wanted to argue. He didn't want to because he hung up in my face. And I never had no guy to hang up. We had a conversation about something, and I got to talking loud and over talking, and he just told me, you know what, I don't want to rap, and hung up. And I said, well, what the hell that mean? I ain't never had nobody hang up on me before, so I was like, did you just hang up? Like, call back, then answer the phone, and I said, oh my God. So I knew then is exactly I knew then, okay, let me change this. So when he finally did answer the phone and I changed my tone, now what you upset about? And we talked about it. That's when I knew he ain't with this shit that I just left from. So I can't do what I'm used to doing. I gotta do something different if I want to keep this going. I like them for one, and I want it. Yeah, I like them. Shit, I ain't gonna lie, I like them, and I knew I was wrong because why am I yelling at you? You asked me not to. Don't yell at me and don't cuss at me.
Let me ask
And
you a
said I knew I
question.
wanted something different.
Let
Hmm.
me ask you a question because you said something that kind of sparked this from me, and I know we probably touched on it, but we didn't go deep into it on previous pods. Do women have a problem being alone more than men? And I know you're a woman, so you only see things, or you could primarily see things from a woman perspective. But this concept of you ain't where you need to be, but you searching for a man to find you, or you searching for a man to choose you. What happened to the concept of putting your mask on first, getting your shit together, and then being presentable for the right man? Do you feel like when you met him, because I'm big on not fucking around people in transition. Now I understand it's worked out a couple times, but I done kicked the basketball into the hoop a few times too. That's not how I shoot. You
Hmm.
dig?
Hmm.
So this
Hmm.
concept of, because my sister go through this where she got guys and got guys and got guys, and she feels deserving of love. And how can I say she's not? She feels a requirement of that emotional connection. And how can I say that she's not? But in the idea of, if you can't spend some significant time aligning yourself and making sure that you bring in your best self to the situation, because like you said, he had some baggage, I had some baggage, but you didn't feel like that was going to prohibit you guys from being able to go somewhere together just because y'all had all this carry on. How hard is that for regular women? Because you and him happen to be two special people meeting each other. But for a regular woman, is it good to do some more scouting before you, like, you got girls? What do you tell your girls if they break up with a dude and then 2 weeks later they got a dude bringing them to the crib? Is that too early? Like, damn, you just
It
broke up with
is.
Rodney. Okay.
Most definitely it is. When I met him, I was separated from their dad anyway.
Uh-huh.
When we dated, when he came over, my girls was asleep. It was a
Mhm.
long time before they actually even saw him or spoke to
Okay.
him. If they
Okay.
were at home with me, they were asleep. If he came over early, they was with my sister. So
Okay.
I was never gonna be that mom to let my girls see me with different dudes. So when I left their dad, they didn't know no one else next but him.
Gotcha.
So and it wasn't I was by myself for a while. I would say, I don't know, my daughter was 2.
Hmm.
She was 2 years old when I met my husband. So I was by myself and I left their dad way before then, probably 2 years. It was like an off and on, but we wasn't living together. So I would tell any woman, yeah, women do have a problem. Some women do have a problem with being alone because they looking at other relationships. I didn't have a problem being alone because I was tired of fighting. And once I realized, I'm just gonna be honest, shit, I was tired of fighting. I realized I had more money in my pocket when I wasn't with this nigga than I had when we was trying to make it work. I was trying to make it work on the strength of I wanted my kids to be in a home with their real father because there's I didn't have that. So I
Right.
thought that was the thing, like I'm gonna make this shit work. So it didn't work. And when I left, I had more money in my pocket. I had that peace. So I was okay with being by myself. Even though I'm looking at other women in my family, they were married, they were happy, whatever it was. I wasn't looking for, well, damn, they got this, I need to get it. So I wasn't that type. I think a lot of women look around at their friends, their sisters, their cousins that's married, or seem to be happily married, because there's a lot of people in your family that seem to be happily married, but hell, they not. And then you want that. Ooh, I need a man, or I need somebody, so you just go out there and you get the first thing that walk past you and ask you for your damn phone number or whatever. That wasn't me. I didn't want my kids, my girls, because I had girls. I didn't want my girls to see me with different men. I wanted them, the next one that they saw me with, especially my oldest, because she was there. She was there when we were fighting, and me and her dad was going through stuff. I wanted her to see what a real man was. So I said, I'll be damned if I bring anyone around. It's gonna be one that's everything that I needed to be for my kids and me.
Mm.
So I had to wait. Yes. Oh, hey, if he wanted to walk out today and say, I'm done with this shit, I'm tired of the ninth version of you, I can't take it, I don't want to see the 10th, then
Even I understand we're talking about spouses and all of that, but even when it comes to why relationships go bad now, because your relationship is not a community project. You don't need to have thumbs up and likes and validation from your mama or his mama or anybody. If
mm-hmm,
you know in your heart of hearts you love this dude Dirty Draws, if you know in your heart of hearts he there for you, he gonna grind for you, he gonna fight with you as far as with you, beside you, what I mean, he gonna fight beside
mm-hmm,
you, he's gonna support you, and you know that. Stop working so hard to prove that to other people who don't give a damn. Stop working so. A lot
mm-hmm,
of relationships get exhausted because the dude is trying to show his mama how good the girl this is, or she trying to show her
mm-hmm.
sister how good the dude this is, or she. Who cares? It's not a community project. So when you got to the point where you're like, listen, I know me, I know my love, I know my heart, and we riding out with this dude. To hell with whatever. We gonna weather this because I'm so committed to the commitment of this. Other people, I don't have. I've tried to explain it to her. She's not old enough to understand. She's not
Right.
old enough to comprehend how this love thing works. She don't know no better. Forgive her, for she don't know no better, right? And you
Mm-hmm,
was wise enough
mm-hmm.
to accept that. But a lot of people say, if he don't fool with my kids, if he can't accept my kids and all this and all that, then we just not gonna work. Your kids is an arsonist. Your kid is
And
an
your kid's
arsonist.
bad as
Yeah.
hell. You hear me? Bad as hell. And you know your kid's bad as hell. It's like baby kids. They ran off so many, so many dudes before. You got baby kids. And you
But
around
that
here,
goes
you,
it goes back to what we were
mm-mm.
saying is put your own mask on first, clean up your own front porch before you invite somebody in. If you know your porch
Right,
is dirty, why do you have time to
right.
try to court me? Why do you have time to try to fuck me?
Mm-hmm.
You got your eye off the ball. When you got a chick that's trying to talk to you and she got other shit going on that should be more important, that should be a red flag. It's like, hold up, man, how do
Right.
you have time for this loving when you got the house on fire? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like you got kids, but I ain't never seen your children. You constantly dropping your children off so you can hang out with me. Like
Yep.
you hanging out with me and your kids need school clothes up. Yeah, those are red flags. That's yeah, no, you putting me before your kids. Like damn.
Right.
Exactly, yes. That's a problem. That is a problem. And it happens too. It happens.
Really work for. You are what your record says you are. Good, better, or different. When you get to a certain age, if you 40 years old and you ain't never had a dude that ain't cheated on you, you giving that off. You know what I'm saying? If you at a certain point, you are what your record says you are. But what happens is
Yeah.
people feel like they deserve love inappropriately. People feel like they deserve money. They deserve blessings. They deserve this job. They deserve a man to be everything they want him to be when they want him to be that. They want him to fight niggas in the club, but then they want him to do calculus, you know what I'm saying, for the stock market, and then they want him to be
So let me
tall.
ask you this. So let me ask
Exactly.
you this. You're saying people feel like they deserve, but
Hmm.
I feel like to me,
Hmm.
women feel like they deserve. But I want to ask you, do men feel like they deserve that good wife? And do y'all see it like that, or it just if it happened, it happened? I'm just out here. If I get a good woman, I get a good woman. But do y'all actually feel like y'all deserve a good woman?
So it goes back to what you said in the beginning, the constant reevaluation. I think for me and dudes that I run with, we constantly have a little insecurity as it relates to if you understand anything about scholarships, right? So scholarships are an annual contract when you're in college. If you go to college and play a sport, every year you got to earn
Hmm.
your scholarship. They can take
Right.
it. It's a free ride though, as long as you playing. And if you performing,
Hmm.
you're getting rewarded with another free ride, more food, more at school, more whatever
Hmm.
that you can build
Hmm.
on later on. Relationships, and we go end up in a pod about this about should marriage be a renewable contract? Because I think a lot of people get into this shit and get lazy, and the sex get low, and the cooking get low, and the weight get up.
Of
It's a
course.
retirement plan.
Of course, it's gonna happen. That's what I'm talking
It
about. These
shouldn't though.
versions,
It shouldn't happen.
but you don't know what's gonna play into it because I could get sick. You know what I'm saying? So if I get sick and I'm not able to give you what I used to give you of me, are you gonna stick with me? Are you gonna ride it
Where's
out? Or
the
are you gonna say
replacement?
this a deal
The
breaker?
best the best apology is change behavior. Where's the replacement? You can't have all the energy to go to Jamaica on girls trips and be twerking, but then when I need you to do something, you tired. I'm sleep. My head hurt. Your head always. It's like the Holy Ghost. Why does it only happen at church? Why are you always tired when it's time for me to get some? You got all this energy. You running 5Ks and all this other shit. You doing stuff with your girls at work, and you doing Christmas parties and all that. But then when it's something for me, when it's time to go over my family crib, man,
If she's always tired for you, is it something about you? Do y'all need to sit what and that goes back to what you said. Yeah, it may need to be an evaluation because if every time you get around me and your head hurt, we need to sit down because is it me that's making your head hurt? I mean, you can't not just talk about it. That's the
yes, it's
problem.
something about me.
And
I'm gonna
people
tell you
they
this.
don't talk
It's
about
something
it.
about me when that type of shit happens because I ain't hung up on her ass. Yeah,
Oh my
I can really be.
god.
If you let somebody kick you 5 times, they go kick you 5 times. This is the nature of people that get over. You have some people that just got a case that they can't help. It's like my girl said. They just can't help but
Right.
to try to get over, try to cut corners, try to shortcut, and try to get the most out of everything. It's always about them. You have self-centered and selfish people that operate that way within relationships. Ironically, a relationship is about learning to relate to each other. You and your husband learn to relate to each other, therefore you have a sustainable relationship. Some people is like, this is me, and if he can't accept me and accept my ways and accept how crazy I am, and I like to light stuff on fire sometimes, what the fuck is we talking about? Like, why are you okay with that being who you are? Why are you okay with presenting that so aggressively that you making him the bad guy?
I think
And that's
because
that's the problem.
two people are changing here. And that's I think that's when you have to have the conversation and be honest with each other because yeah, I can't twerk like I did 15, 20 years ago. If that's,
Mhm,
I'm just throwing it out there. Cause I done
mhm,
got older and I done gained some weight. My goddamn knees bad.
mhm.
I can barely squat long enough to take a picture. But at the same time, you ain't picking me up, carrying me around the house like you used to no more. So you can't look at me and say, well, you ain't doing this and you ain't doing that, and then expect me to sit here and I tell you, well, hey, you used to do this and you ain't doing that either. You both have to talk about that in order to make it work because it ain't just one person. I think with women, we are more forceful at saying what we don't like and what you ain't doing. And I think men kind of hold it in because I know, and sometimes you probably will look and say, I can get the hell out of here with this shit or shut up talking to me. And we probably will say, leave me alone, feel like being bothered. And I think men feel the same way sometimes, leave me alone, feel like being bothered, but they won't say it. So I
Let
think
me tell you this.
men need to tell the truth, and I think women won't accept it. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt my feelings. We don't want to see her cry. She gonna be mad for a couple days if I tell her, "Hey, that thing ain't thinking like it used to no more. You need to do something." And instead of causing that, y'all just say, "Well, I'm just not gonna say no." But shit, y'all know that she's slipping too, but you won't say
But
it. And why you
yeah,
won't say it? Because
because
we
she's
will.
sensitive. But here's the situation. She's more
Ah,
sensitive. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let you go to any other topic that you want to touch before we jump off. But here's the situation, and you just made me think of this. The large preponderance of men have grew up around a grown woman. day in, day out, feeding them, bathing them, paying for this, cooking that, whatever the case may be, buying clothes, all of this. So men, to a large degree, have had a mother figure, a wife figure, a person
I
that
know
that
where you're
handles
going.
things as a woman should in their life, whether it was their
Mm-hmm.
grandma, whoever, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Women, the problem that they run into is they ain't never had a nigga around consistently, but then want to get with you and tell
Mm-hmm.
you the nigga that you need to be. You don't have enough receipts. You don't have enough. You trying to make me somebody that you seen on TV or somebody that your girl said they heard about, and that's inappropriate. This is not the reality of the situation. So yeah, you want me to do cooking and cleaning, calculating and security, and then you want me to program the computer and all this other stuff. I can't be handyman and corporate man. You want me to build a tree house
Mm-hmm.
and then go work on Wall Street? Them ain't the same dude. Stop doing this. But
Mm-hmm.
I give them some grace in the fact that they didn't have examples to say this is what it is. Or you get them women that want to do just like they daddy, but they daddy was raised in the fucking 50s, and dudes don't come home with boots on, drink a scotch, and
Right.
then
And turning
cut
over their
everybody
whole
grass.
chick.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you got to
Right.
evolve. And
Right.
because they don't have perspective, they make it up as they go along and they do it over aggressively. So when they get together, they talk about dudes bad because women don't even, we're going to talk about this later. We might bring you to that one too. Women don't even know what women want from each other. Like if you describe a good dude, I'm just going to say it like this. If somebody says,
Mm-hmm.
describe a good dude, you with your closest friends, your aunties, whomever, right? There's 10 of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And you describe the
Mm-hmm.
perfect dude for you. Who is going to agree with you 100%? Not one of them. Not one of them.
You
So
right.
what women consider a quote unquote, I got my quotation fingers up. What women consider a good man, they don't even agree. So how the hell dudes got a chance? I ain't got a chance at being a good dude because if I meet another chick, I gotta be a whole nother dude.
And you're right. I will agree with you on that. And I know a lot of women gonna be like, girl, but I will agree because you absolutely right. And but I can't
Was
explain it. You know, I got a guy
okay.
friend of mine, and we talk all the time, and I tell him I can't explain why we do what we do, even though I
Mm-hmm.
am one. I can't explain it, but I do sympathize with men because I know I can't explain why the hell I do what I do sometimes. So, and it is a fucked up situation for you because you don't know, like I said again, what version of me you getting? It's like y'all always gotta walk on eggshells. Like, damn, I don't know if she in a good. And this is another one we probably need to talk about when it comes down to, like my goddaughter say, role coloring. Like,
Yeah.
damn, y'all don't know when is a good time to color or not. Like, damn, is
Yeah.
she in a good mood? I don't know if she is, if she ain't. You know, and y'all always on eggshells. It's hard for y'all to pick up dinner because shit, I think you like this, so I'm gonna go get it. But shit, when I bring it home, you be like, I ain't have taste for this today. But at the same time, we always want y'all to choose. Well, no, you gonna choose. I don't care. It don't make no difference. Pick up something, and then you bring something home. We like, well, I really didn't want that. So yeah, we are a little fucked up. I'll admit it.
It's the mellow
Y'all do
yellow.
have it hard.
Because you got some stuff that does spark some other stuff and some other stuff. But I can say this: it would be irresponsible and disrespectful for us to tell brothers that's listening to this call to start hanging up on your woman. Because every woman ain't gonna have the constitution to stick with it like you. Some women extra crispy sensitive, you know what I'm saying? And you hang up on
Well,
their ass, and that's the end
I
of it.
wouldn't. I wouldn't say hang up on him, but what he needs to do is, if you know you that guy and your intentions are good, and and you really like this girl, you need to put out there what you would take from her and what you want. And what he put out there was don't yell at him and don't cuss at him because he's not gonna yell at me. We've been together for so long that he's never, ever, ever called me out my name. But I've been with their daddy for 6 years, and I've been everything underneath the sun. You know what I'm saying? Everything underneath
Right.
the sun.
Yeah.
And he established that with me from early on. I'm not gonna do that to you. Don't do it to me. I don't care how mad you are. Don't do that. And I accepted that. I'm like, okay, I won't go there. Like that. And we don't have to do that. So, and I'm gonna throw these in and I'm gonna be done. It's so funny because even though I still had to communicate with my children's father,
Hmm.
we yelled and fought and argued and cussed at each other over the phone. And one day he took that phone from me and he was like, "This, you ain't finna do that. You ain't finna let another nigga call you to get you upset and angry like that. Cause I'm not gonna do that to you." And then that's when I had to change again and say, you know what? Block. This nigga going on block. I had to deal with his mama for my kids and block him because he was right. I'm not even gonna let my own husband call me out my name and upset me. Why am I letting this nigga do it? So
Right.
we grew a lot together. It's a lot of things that he taught me.
Right.
Yes, he taught me. I had to learn.
But
So
you was
in the
receptive.
beginning, yeah,
But you was
you
receptive
have to
to it.
be.
And a lot of people
You
feel like
have to
I'm
be.
grown. You can't. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm
Mm-mm.
done. I had a girl, a chick that I used to mess around with a long time ago, and one of the things was I was messing around with this chick, and my boys were trying to hook me up with this other girl. And so with this other girl, I'm having a conversation with her, and one of the things that she kept bringing up as a theme is, and we in our probably late 20s at this point, right? And one of the things she's bringing up as a theme is, I don't have time for games. I'm not trying to raise no nigga. And my response to her was, if a dude only knows what he knows, and so if you do enough, like y'all was talking about, reconnaissance, if you date them long enough, if you chill and take it easy and figure it out and measure twice, if you do that, your scouting should tell you whether he deserves to be on the team or not. If he deserves to
Mm-hmm.
be on the team, if you feel like he deserves to be on the team, then he does deserve to be coached up. Because a lot of dudes don't know women like you. They never been around somebody like you. You said you was willing to take what your husband was giving you because you had never been able to be around somebody like him that coached the way he coached. But you was receptive to it,
Mm-hmm.
and he was willing to give it. He wasn't like what they say, his cutoff game wasn't quick. You know, a lot of people wanted my cutoff game is quick. He was like, listen, I see something in her, but some things gonna have to change if we're gonna make it. And I think the reality
Mm-hmm.
of you get a lot of women that say, I ain't got time for this, I ain't got time for that, or whatever. Why not? Why don't you see promise in a man and feel like, you know what? He might I know I had to be checked in my with my wife. I remember we was dating and I remember going to a party and coming home and getting a little too excited about a chick I met at the party. And it was on some conversation type stuff, right? And straight up, it was straight up on some conversation type stuff. But I was like, oh man, I met this chick. And she was like, hold up, chief. Listen, you need to get this all out your system and figure you like a lot of attention. I don't realize that about your ass. You like a lot of attention. So either you gonna go out there and be good and get nourished off this attention, or you gonna be with me. That's it. So call me when
Mm-hmm.
the next time we talk, it'll be about your decision. And 2 days later, I was like, you was right. I gave it some time to marinate because I did like that attention. I
Mm-hmm.
did like, saying
Mm-hmm.
women being impressed by me. But I like being with a chick that was gonna support me and nurture me and whatever. And we was able to get there. But like you said, she had to hang up on me, metaphorically. And then I had to
Mm-hmm.
realize, is this worth it? But she was willing to coach me through it. She wasn't a my way or the
Mm-hmm.
highway, it is or it ain't.
Right.
She was willing to give me some of that game, give me some grace, give me a couple of, give me some leeway. I think a lot of women is too quick to cut a mug off because of what they scared their girlfriend gonna say, or how's this story gonna play out
Mm-hmm.
in the public. And that be the problem when you got people all in your business and this and that. Then you end up in these situations where you doing stuff for the crowd. You're not doing stuff for your longevity
Right.
in this relationship. And so that you made me think of that because I remember being in that situation myself, and I remember I know that there's a lot of women that say I don't have time for this, or I'm not gonna do this, or I'm not gonna do that. Realizing, what if you the best thing this dude that ever seen, and he just ain't ready? He don't know no better right now, but you can coach him up, you can get him there,
Mm-hmm.
and you got coached up, and your husband got coached up, but y'all was willing to receive that. Y'all didn't come in saying he better, man, I'm the best thing smoking. He better be happy that he found me, and blah 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 blah. You was humble, and I think that's what a lot of people fall on, is they not humble enough to see God put this person in my life. Let me see how it's gonna work. Let me do the things that it takes to make it work, and then if it work, it's good. If it don't, it ain't for lack of effort. But you didn't feel
Right.
like I deserve this and I deserve that. Hey, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna take it each inch by inch, little by little, and then y'all built something. And now, like you said, 15 years later, you can look back and say, man, that was it's funny now. It wasn't funny when a nigga hung up on you.
No.
So, Ob, did you have anything you wanted to go ahead?
Right. Right. Make one change.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Renegotiating, not expiring. I think that years and they was like, y'all should be recording that. Y'all should be, but it's good to have perspective, especially a woman's perspective, especially a strong person's perspective. And it's not going to be a situation where we always agree on all the different things. And there's some things that you got going on that we was like, we didn't know about or we didn't understand, and you gave us some game. I think you gave some of the listeners a lot of game. As far as how you perceived it, I will say this: you made it sound a lot easier than it is because women got a hard time getting over themselves, and so do men, especially when you age. It's the old dog, new trick type situation. But you got to keep
Right.
your eye on the prize. You knew
Yeah.
what you was going for ultimately because you said my thing was happiness. I seen aunties and other folks doing their thing, but I didn't necessarily see them happy. It wasn't creating a castle of happiness. I wanted a kingdom
Mm-hmm.
and a castle full of happiness, and so I was willing to do the work. And you didn't feel like you just deserved it and inherited it. You was willing to work for it. And unfortunately, we'll see how that plays out. We'll see with your daughters coming of age if the lesson and the example kind of resonates. I know with my kids, I try my best to show them stuff, and they just determine not to do it because it's me. But I think
Oh
that
yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
so
That's what they do.
so but a hard head make a soft ass. So we'll see
Mm-hmm.
ultimately when it all plays out. But we definitely wanted to always be mindful of these just our points. This is just our opinions based off what we've seen, what we've experienced, what we've learned. And there's a lot of experiences out there. So we appreciate you jumping on and giving us your game to kind of mingle with
Thank
our
you.
game.
Thank you
And
for
we'll
having me.
definitely
I
do this
appreciate
again.
that.
Oh, we'll do this again because you be on fire with these comments and you get a lot of thumbs up and a lot of like I said, people be scared to say stuff on the board, but I get text messages all the time about some of the fire you be putting out there and how you don't ride out with the women all the time. You know, so I wanted to give you a chance. He saying no justice, right? You just going for justice. But I wanted to give you a chance so they
Right.
could see the big picture. Because a lot of times you can only ascertain so much in a little text message and you take a perspective
Mm-hmm.
of this person. But now that they've got a chance to hear your voice and your passion and how you navigated these waters and have been successful, because to me, nothing is as important as the receipts. You got 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of what anybody say, if they don't got 15 strong years, they ain't saying shit. You know what I'm saying? Like there's levels to this thing, like the folks say. So it's always a good situation. But Albie, I'll let you finish it out and close us out, and then we good. And I gave my points.
Thank you.
This concludes another episode of the Hollow Points Podcast, where we act as your therapeutic outlet on topics many think about but are afraid to speak on.
Oh, you're welcome.